Hey guys, so today I wanted to address the cult-like mentalities that have formed around our diets and ways of eating, especially in the last few years. And it's very easy to see why we have created these cult-like mentalities, since modern society especially is so obsessed with food, and it's easy to become passionate about something that you're obsessed with. And don't get me wrong, I'm very passionate about food and where it's coming from, how it's made, and people having access to the truth about their food and what they actually need to consume to be healthy. With that being said, there are a few groups out there that don't try to create something new, that don't try to just inform you about their views, about their way of going about things. Their main tactic is to destroy, attack, and belittle anything that anybody else creates. A main example of that today is the hashtag Milk Pint Challenge. If you look at that, it was created by a UK farmer who wanted to put him and his colleagues out front in society again so people could get to know about the dairy industry and what they're all about. And in response to that, you can see, if you look at the hashtag now, there are just tons and tons of propaganda images about how every glass of milk has a baby cow in it, or how milk is bad for you, or anything like that. And there's just no facts behind most of this. If you look through not just the original post, but if you look at comments people are making on other posts about the Milk Pint Challenge that are actually doing the Milk Pint Challenge properly, you will just see a bunch of slander and name calling, no real facts being presented or questions being asked. You can see that on my own Instagram. I was called a rapist, an abuser, and asked how I could support the dairy industry, which makes me think some people didn't even read the caption of my first picture because I said that it was from my own goats. And I tried to make it clear in my original caption that I supported buying local, buying regenerative, buying ethical, and that just fell on deaf ears because they don't believe that there is any ethical way to partake in the dairy industry. And I'm not saying that the dairy industry is perfect or that it's completely ethical, but instead of spouting about elimination, try to advocate for ethical practices, try to advocate for calves at foot, try to advocate for pasture-raised animals, and just being closer to nature. Understand your food more, understand what other people are eating. But of course, this is an example of a rude, childish, and not very scientifically supported attack on the dairy industry and on agriculture, really. But let's look at something that reaches a bit farther than the screen. This actually happened on our own farm. A few years ago, we were slaughtering our steers, and when we went to slaughter our second steer, this lady came running out of nowhere. We had never spoken to her before, never even knew she existed, and she almost got shot if we weren't paying attention and had stopped before she got in the line of fire. And she was yelling at us, trying to come over our fence into our yard, trying to get us to stop from slaughtering our bull. Well, our steer, sorry. And one of our neighbors did come and help kind of escort her away from the fence so we can finish what we were doing, because we had 3 cows to do that day and we didn't want to wait until it got too hot out. And during her time backing away from the fence, she decided to call 911 and tell them that we were torturing our cows with a sawed-off shotgun. In reality, we were shooting them with a rifle. And we were very quick about it. After we shot them, we bled them out very quickly to make it as painless as death could be. And the cops showed up, and they didn't do anything, of course, because we weren't torturing our animals. And she demanded that we be cited for animal abuse, and if the cops would have obliged, I wouldn't even have a chance to pursue the career I'm trying to pursue. I wouldn't have even been allowed into the school that I'm trying to attend now, or that I am attending now. And it's just amazing that she would try to ruin not just that day, but my entire life for one thing she doesn't agree with. And after the cops tried to leave, she tried to attack their cars and physically block them so that they couldn't leave until they agreed with her. But luckily none of that worked. They just left. She did kind of wreak havoc on the neighbor and us who were against her at that point. But that's not fully my story to talk about, so we'll move on from that. There's other instances that have been reported and shown where these animal rights activist groups go to farms, especially smaller farms, and steal animals, and they don't know how to take care of these animals. They take these kid goats and they don't bottle feed them, and the babies starve because they can't eat enough without the proper formula or milk. And they take these chickens and put them on vegetarian diets, and it's really just a mess sometimes. And sometimes they just let the animals go. And if you think about it, a domesticated animal, whether it's a goat or a dog or cow, most likely won't survive without the help of its owner. And maybe a pasture-raised cow would know better, but a cow coming from a place where it gets fed isn't gonna know what plants to go for to get the proper nutrition. And even in my own area, there's been reports of people's pets being stolen. You have to realize with these smaller farms, these aren't just animals to me. These are my pets. These are my part of my family. And people say I'm using them, but I'm offering them something. I'm offering them a complete whole diet of high quality foods in return for milk or whatever else. If they were just in the wild, they would probably die even sooner than if they were a meat steer or a meat goat. So I think people really need to draw the line between emotions and necessity and kind of just stay in their own lane. I don't try to go to other vegan pages unless they're just making completely false remarks, especially when they're being posted on the hashtag Milk Pint Challenge. And I do just go and I ask a question, or I try to correct something. I never go and tell them that, hey, you're killing hundreds of rabbits and snakes and indigenous animals. What do you think about that? So we just kind of have to learn how to respect each other a little bit more, and I think that is the issue, is we don't respect each other. We all just need to try to respect each other a little bit more, learn the truth about our food and where it's coming from, support the farms that we agree with, and live our lives. Thanks for joining me on my health journey, and I hope you share yours with me too. Bye.